Hey guys, welcome back to the Daily Crypto Market Update. BTC closed up green on the day yesterday, 2.35%. This is a welcome change from all of the down-facing pressure. The unfortunate truth about everything right now is that because BTC is still below the daily cloud, and honestly, it has been since over here, since October, this is a sign that the chart is still strong bearish. One other thing I want to point out to you in regards to this indicator, the TBO, is that it's very much like the Ichimoku clouds. If you've ever used Ichimoku, which are awesome, it's a really great indicator. One really awesome tip about this indicator, which can look quite messy, let me go ahead and turn off the lagging span to make it a little bit easier and the lines. We just want to look at the cloud, okay? So one thing that's really interesting about this indicator that's similar in the TBO is that when we have this green line go above the pink line, I'm not going to go into the words or the meanings of it, but when the two lines are both separate and the price is well above it, it's a sign that the price is strong bullish. But the moment that the price goes below the cloud, like it's done multiple times and it still is very much strong bearish, that's a bad sign, okay? The other thing to pay attention to is how constricted the cloud gets. So when the cloud starts to get really tight, a lot of this kind of stuff right here, or like even how it is over here, that's a really negative sign for the indicator. Now, if we look at the TBO, because it's using moving averages, it's a lot smoother. But the reality is that it looks extremely compressed right here. Now, something really interesting happened yesterday. And it's really interesting for multiple reasons. Some of them are good, some of them are bad, just so you know. But before I go into that, I need to give you context. This long lower dotted line here on the TBO is automatically drawn and plotted by the indicator. This is giving us support. TBO support used to be down here at $53,000, and then it shot all the way up here to 85K, then down here to 76K. Okay? Pay attention to this green line. As time has continued and we have these lows and there's a big bounce, we see these lows or the support level get changed or modified. But this level won't move up. I want you to hear me again. This level right here will not move until there is a significant bounce in price, which will cause support to move up a lot. And every single bounce that happens, it gets radically adjusted and changed. Okay? Do you understand? Do you hear that? Okay, good. Now, this line of support at $74,620 has been in place since the 9th of April of this year until yesterday. Yesterday, it actually moved up to $98,966. Why is that a big deal? Well, it's a big deal because when TBO support has a massive shift up higher, it tells us that this long-standing level of support, it's still valid, but now there's stronger short-term support, newly established support at this recent bounce. We saw the same thing happen back over here. BTC rallied from 2023 September, had this long support level here at 25K, and then when there was finally a pullback, it bounced right here up to 57K. We know that that bounce resulted in a really nice spring of 24%, but unfortunately what happened is that support kept getting pushed down lower and lower and lower. That's what happens when the trend starts to become weak. This is where we are right now. I know it's not the easiest answer, and I have no guarantees of this happening. I would love to see it happen just like all of you. But we've seen support make a massive, massive move because this support level was in place for about 234 bars. Then we have this level of support in play for 176 bars. Then we have this one in place for 210 bars, and it's moved up. It's a really big deal. I know it just seems like a green dotted line, but it's telling us that this level is good. It's actually a good bounce level. But here is the problem. When we start to see a new trend take place, whatever the chart is, doesn't matter, but we're looking at Bitcoin right now. What will happen? And we're going to use the inverse right here. Okay? Right back over here. What will happen is that when we have resistance, and this is easier to see because Bitcoin has been in a very strong uptrend for a long time, since October 2023, We see the price shoot above resistance and it flips green, letting us know that it's now support. And then finally, there's a pullback, which puts resistance up higher. There's another pullback, which puts resistance up higher, which puts resistance up higher, which puts it up higher and higher. During the course of this rally, we saw resistance move up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. This moved from 26K up to 72K. When there's a strong trend intact, we're going to see that line of resistance being pushed more and more and more until the price finally says, okay, I'm done, I've topped out. It works the same way for bearish markets. Here is 2021, just so you know. Okay, we see support, we see a good bounce here, and then support just gets moved lower and lower and lower and lower and lower and lower because the trend by this time is very strong bearish, indicated by the slow line. I'm not saying that by any shape, way, or form that we are here. If anything, I think that we are about here. If we're going to draw conclusions about November 2021 to where we are right now, November 2025, okay? It looks pretty similar. And what happened back over there is what's happening right over here as well. Long-standing support gets moved up after a nice bounce, and it gets moved up more and more. It's moving around a lot. But eventually, once we see this slow line right here start to really take shape, this is where things start to get a little scary because it depends. If you're short in the market, you'll be happy. But the slow line always tells us the macro trend of any chart. And right now, even though we saw the macro trend going up higher and higher, I need to zoom in and I also need to hide the price one more time because it is admittedly difficult to see it with all the noise and all the other symbols. This slow line that was previously moving up has started to cool off a little bit, and now it's actually starting to cool down. It's actually starting to curl downward. The other thing you have to know about the TBO is that there will always be a grace period of this gray right here. So we previously had a very green cloud, and then we're starting to change into gray, and it's starting to turn pink here. If Bitcoin says, okay, and the market agrees, okay, this is our good bounce level, it's not going to go lower than $98,000, cool, then we should see BTC continue to push up more and more. And the first touch, the first bounce level that we want to look for, the first target should always be the fast line. But the problem right now is that the fast line, being the fastest moving average, has already told us the strength of the trend and the direction thereof. It's pointing down. Okay? The slowest line will tell us the macro trend, which is just starting to curl downward. Okay? I saw some people saying in the comments that your indicator is always late and it's not helpful right now. It's like, well, to be honest, the indicator is designed to confirm a trend, not to give us like the best possible like setup signals. And to be honest, we already got confirmation that the trend was breaking down here on a closed long. I've been telling you, when we get a closed long, that is a warning sign that the previous bullish uptrend could be coming to an end soon. We saw this happen on the 10th of October. We saw it happen back over here. And even though the price went up higher, it obviously fell a lot further. And yes, it went up higher again, but we're obviously a lot further now. On the weekly time frame, nothing has changed. And in fact, we have a TBO closed long in progress on today's weekly candle. Nothing's changed since yesterday. This will go away if Bitcoin closes up at about $108,000 by the end of this week. So by Sunday, my time. It's still possible. But one thing I want to remind you of is that anytime the price of Bitcoin goes inside of the cloud, no matter what the time frame is, but the longer the time frame, the stronger the confirmation signal is, that's an indication that we're going to be in bearish consolidation for several weeks. Over here, we got a pierce of it on the 24th. The week of the 3rd of March, we were inside of the cloud after that point for 6 weeks. Okay, it's not going to be one and done. So here's our pierce. Here's this. So right now we're on week 4. Maybe we have 2 more weeks and maybe we're going to see it just shoot up and it's going to go up to 130,000, 150,000. Maybe it will still happen. It's very possible. It really is. I am not lying. I'm not trying to appease someone. I'm not trying to make someone's bullish bias come to pass, nor am I trying to always stay bearish. But I want you to understand that right now, these are some really bearish vibes that I'm getting, even though the macro trend on the weekly is up. Now, we talked about it on the daily time frame. The weekly does give us stronger confirmation. What did it look like in 2021? That's a great question that you didn't ask. In 2021, the slow line was pointing up really, really strongly on the weekly time frame. And this is the next important ingredient for the TBO, and that is the TBO bear formula. 2 TBO closed longs, a cross down, and an open short. The TBO open short, hear me out, will always be late. Always, 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 especially on the weekly time frame. But there's a cool feature in the TBO where we can change the speed. So instead of it being the standard speed, we can actually speed it up. So we can get this confirmation a lot earlier. And by doing this, we're basically looking at the weekly, we're looking on the weekly time frame at what the daily chart looks like. That's essentially what we're doing. We're speeding up all the lines. So I haven't actually looked to see if this is changing anything, but look at the cloud here. We already saw the price fall below the cloud by January. It had lost a lot. It had lost 50% by this point. It shot back up, and then we finally get our open short on the 7th of February, instead of happening a couple weeks later on the 28th of February. But I'm curious to see, and I haven't checked it yet on the fast time frame, where are we now? So where are we now? We are seeing not too much of a change. We had 2 close longs. We had 3 close longs over here and a cross down, and it shot up. But the one thing that's clear to me is that the slow line here is starting to weaken a little bit. It's not curling down. We're not going flat. Anytime it starts to flatten out, though, that's where we pay attention, because the next thing to happen is going down a lot lower. So far, so good. Honestly, it's okay. And this could be an amazing dip buy opportunity, just like this one was, but I'm still holding to my top bottom recovery rally structure. I still think that we are near the end of our top year, and now we see BTC putting in some signs of weakness. Now, the other thing I have to remind you about is that on the weekly, we do have a TBT bearish divergence up here, which is always going to precede a closed long. That's the same thing that's happening here for BTC USDT on Binance. On the monthly, we still have those 2, which is also marking the top. So again, I'm looking at this going, all right, well, yes, we're up pretty high. Yes, we're having a little bit of a dip buy opportunity. But if we're going to be playing out this top bottom recovery rally structure, this is happening at the exact right time. This is what happened back over here as well. We had a cluster for Bitcoin and then these breakdowns. Okay. All right, let's keep going. Ethereum also still has a TBO close long. Again, this could go away by the end of the week if Ethereum closes up a lot higher. On the daily time frame, had a good close, a good bounce yesterday of 4%. And across the board, I should have mentioned as well, for BTC, it did have an RSI reset yesterday, which is cool. That's a good thing. For Ethereum, same thing. Actually, so many charts had RSI resets. But the problem is that a lot of charts did not have a bullish engulfing candle. Some did, and we will look at those in a second. But there's a lot of signs of weakness and danger still for BTC and for Ethereum and everything else. Stablecoin Dominance did not print a second breakout yesterday. But honestly, seeing the TBO breakout cluster on the 4-hour, the price is still above the cloud. Bitcoin really has to rally in order for this to start heading lower. Right now on the daily time frame, I'm starting to see the slow line here resume this uptrend, which again is a sign of caution and worry if you are feeling like buying the dip. Okay. I should also add, I'm not seeing any bearish reversal signs like we saw back over here. These red triangles, TBT bearish divergence, we don't see any of these right now. Close long, I don't see anything like that. Could we? Oh yes, anything is possible. But right now, it appears that we're going to see more selling pressure. We're going to see prices fall more unless something amazing happens today and we see a TBT bearish divergence. But right now, I don't see any signs of relief yet. What's interesting yesterday is that we saw Bitcoin dominance lose about 0.34% because others' dominance increased by so much. Alts rallied a lot yesterday. I still expect and believe that alts will have a really good fourth quarter. I don't know necessarily about Bitcoin, but we are already starting to see it. For the total ES.D chart, great bounce off of this zone that I shared yesterday where it's like, it has to bounce above here. This is where it fell back in April 2025. This is where it fell in August and also again in September in 2024. If it does not bounce from here and we go lower, then that should be a very clear sign that we are near the end of the bear market. And this is total ES.D. This is the total crypto market cap excluding stablecoins represented in dominance. So seeing stablecoin dominance increasing means that we'll see total ES.D decrease. I also want to gently remind you, again, the whole thing I was sharing before about the trend, the macro trend for the slow line, unfortunately, it has been pointing down. So we do have a macro bearish trend for the total crypto market cap. It does not mean that we can't see some sort of increase where we see this shoot up a lot higher. And 1.5% is a huge amount for this chart. Totally 100.D, it moved up a lot more, representing the total crypto market cap below the top 100, reflected in dominance. The biggest significant change for this chart right here is on the slow line. Ever since about the 10th, since the 11th, we've seen the slow line really pointing down until yesterday where it flattened out. That's a really positive sign. I can't ignore that. That's a good sign that it's actually flattened out on a faster time frame. So the next thing we would love to see in order for things to remain bullish is to see the total E100.D chart go up higher, because that will change the macro trend. It will do a lot of good to the crypto market. You'll be feeling it. It'll be feeling really, really good. But again, the macro trend is already starting to look pretty bearish on the daily time frame. It's also on the weekly. It's pretty bearish. The total ES chart, total crypto market cap excluding stablecoins, reflected in a market cap percentage. Not percentage, but just in a market cap, had a good bounce yesterday, but no bullish engulfing candle for the entire crypto market cap, even though some charts did really well. Okay, I'm not saying it's not possible, but again, I'm seeing similar signs to BTC. Yes, it was previously bullish, and now the macro trend is starting to flatten out. It really does need, this is like make or break moment. It really does need, the market needs to bounce from here. Yes, we do have an RSI reset. Yes, this last one resulted in a really nice rally up higher, which is good. I'm all for it, okay? I'm not trying to rain on anyone's parade. So this is our target, a logical target of 3.41 trillion. If it moves up another 8% and we get a rejection from there, then that'll be a clear sign that we're going to be making a lower low. Breaking above, then we're going to go up a lot higher. Simple as that. And just a reminder, the dollar index moved up higher yesterday. It did pause at TBO resistance at about 102.52. And it printed a TBO breakout at the top of the move. This is typically a topping signal. It could push up higher, but this is well after our open long, and it's well after the price has already moved up or increased by 1.57% for the Dixie. That's a lot. Unfortunately, on the weekly time frame, this is the same exact setup that we saw back over here in October 2020, January 2021, February. It fell back down only to rally up a lot higher. Just so you know. Okay? Now, I have way more charts that I need to share with you, and I'm running out of time. So I need to get over to this stuff to let you know that we have a lot of educational tools, resources, indicators, alerts over here at the Better Traders. Check out 15 Minutes to Financial Freedom. This is the best place to go for learning how to use a fantastic platform like AllTrading to automate your trades, to use bots, all that fun stuff, how to trade in a bull and a bear market. Comes to coaching. It also comes with a 1-month trial to the Better Traders Club, which includes the TBO, indicators, alerts, information, resources, tons of data. There's a lot. Plus, sign up for FEMX and also for BYDFi down below. Click on those links. Let's get into it. Now, if you have charts that you want me to check out, please leave a comment down below. I'll do my best to consider them. No promises. But if you do have coins you're interested in, let me know. And do me a solid, subscribe if you haven't already. Help me to reach my target of 100,000 subs this year. And that happens by you subscribing and also sharing my video online. All right, let's get into today's picks. I didn't see from yesterday's video any requests per se. And the ones that were requested, I actually kind of already have them here. So we're just going to start with these. ICP has had an incredible last 6 days, from 292 all the way up to 658. That's an insane increase. It's really big. Now, the price has clearly wicked on Tuesday above overhead resistance at the TBO, which is a long daily level. So we have a level here at just under $6, this one just over $6.34, and this one right here at $6.16. So there is a confluence of resistance here in this range, right where the price is pausing. Okay? If ICP will remain bullish, it needs to push up so much higher and so much harder. But does it have the strength to do so? Yesterday, volume was still amazing, about 6 times the average, which is good. But what has happened? Well, we had a huge day of volume on Tuesday where I've said, maybe it was for a different chart. It was for a different chart. But I don't expect to see volume surpass this amount for ICP. Maybe this is the next chosen chart, okay? The other thing that's positive is that yesterday's RSI was up to 85.34 on the daily. That's huge. On the 4-hour time frame, it's still bullish, and it still has these valid TBO breakouts, which have done extremely well, predicting a bullish push up higher. Now, on the faster time frames, we need to pay attention to a couple things. I already made a video about this on the Coin Bureau Trading channel on Tuesday, my time. So RSI on the 4-hour moved up to 95.03. That is a top and out signal. And we're seeing RSI weaken. It does not mean that the chart's done at all. But we need to pay attention to consecutively lower highs. We need to pay attention to volume, putting at lower highs as well. It's still bullish. It can actually continue to push up a lot higher than most people think. Now, the main level, if it were to get really nuts, that it has to actually push above in order to be stupid, crazy bullish, is up here at 1052. This is overhead resistance that's been in place and established over here in December of last year and first made here in March. So it's not impossible for ICP to do it, but this is a pretty significant level of resistance. It would have to move up so much more. Not impossible. Please hear me. Not impossible. We just need to watch volume. We need to watch to see how RSI reacts as well. And it's also struggling at historical TBO resistance. Zen or Horizon. This one still has a valid TBO breakout. Yesterday's volatility is great. I mean, a lot of these charts that have these light blue flags, these are all highlighting these TBO breakouts, but honestly, these are really good for trading, especially on the spot market. Not necessarily with leverage because you'll get whipsawed and chewed up, but with the spot market, using a DCA approach to this, you can do really well trading on an uptrend that's really bullish and strong. Decred, DCR, moved up yesterday and tagged the 0.5 fib level, which is great. Closing up 23% is amazing. So again, how is RSI? Yesterday's RSI is at 97.12. Volume fell off a lot, which is understandable. It's almost like 20x the volume, which is insane. On the 4-hour time frame, we just want to be watching for RSI and volume to be petering out, which is already starting to, but it does not mean that this is done. It could still go a lot higher, okay? PIVX continues to push up higher, strong bullish uptrend. We have 2 TBO breakouts, really, really separated. It could go up higher. Digibyte confirmed an open long yesterday, and it's above TBO resistance, which has been in place since the 23rd of July. It has more resistance up here. Yes, this is a chart we've traded in the past in the Better Traders Club, but there's a lot of overhead resistance for this thing to push up and above. Volume, though, on this one is still looking good, still overwhelming the moving average. Secret, we talked about this one yesterday, pushing up higher, not to a crazy extent, but I really like how volume is increasing a lot more. That's a good sign that this is a sustainable uptrend. Verge, again, volume is looking good for this one. Price action is moving up to resistance. It really needs to push up here above the 0.5, another 30%. It's possible if the market's going to decide, no, we're bullish, we're good, we got this. ZK moved up 19%, just about. Notice where it paused right here at TBO resistance. Isn't that insane? It also has a resistance level up here at about 8 cents. We need to look at volume. It's still pouring in. RSI is looking good as well on the 4-hour time frame. TBO breakouts. It did put in a lower high here on RSI, but it still has some good signs of strength. BDXN put in a higher high yesterday, all the way here at 12 cents, which is nuts. But this is how it works. I mean, when we get these new listings, the market's going to do whatever they want. These charts haven't experienced a bull market yet. So charts like this could go all the way back up to the listing high. It's not impossible. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it's not impossible at all. BARD, this one I shared with you yesterday, saying that it had a TBT bullish divergence confirmed. Yesterday moved up 6%. That's a nice sign of strength. There's no volume. There's no interest right now, but we do have TBO breakouts appearing on the 4-hour time frame, which is exciting because we could see this one really break out higher. Now, for some TBO close shorts, just an update on these guys. Mina, this has 2 recent TBO close shorts. It did not touch the fast line yesterday, but this is a really nice bullish reversal pattern, to be completely honest. The slow line is still bearish. It needs to push above the cloud to stay bullish, but this actually is a decent reversal pattern. It is. Dusk, this one did tag the fast line, so that one is closed. The slow line is flattened out, which is a good sign that we could see Dusk push up higher above the cloud. The next level to watch for resistance is right up here at 0.0788, as indicated by the TBO, which has been in place since the 24th of July. XNO, this one had another higher push up wick to wick yesterday, 67% wicking into the 236 level. So again, guys, I still believe that we will see a crazy alt season. I think that the market is just refusing to give up. I don't know about Bitcoin per se, but I do think that alts will push up higher, but it's not going to be everything. So I'm really trying to highlight and focus on charts that have been bullish or showing some new interest and new bullish volume, which we want to be paying attention to right now. XRP is one of the few coins, and I'm honestly shocked that it's this one, that had a bullish engulfing candle on yesterday's recovery bounce, up 6%. That's great. In regards to the TBO, the slow line is still somewhat moving up, although it's kind of flat. It really needs to push back up into the cloud. It needs to push and recover up to 275 if things are going to turn around for this chart. But it is already very bearish on the weekly, on the daily, it's strong bearish. It could still turn around, but just watch out. ENA did not have a bullish engulfing candle, but I'm more interested in the TBT bullish divergence on the little bounce that we saw yesterday, or actually this morning, early this morning. And on the 4-hour, I've been seeing a lot of these TBT bullish divergence clusters, which are telling me that there should be some sort of a bullish bounce or reversal. 2Z, remember this one? So this one fell down to this drop, to the low from October 10th on Monday, did it again yesterday, did it again on Tuesday, did it again yesterday, and it closed up 10%. It does not mean that this one's going to go up and to the right forever, but this is a good sign of strength and demand. That's what we really want to see. Now, is volume dramatically overwhelming the moving average? No, not yet. RSI is just short-term overbought, but it's still looking good. I still think that a chart like this, even though it looks pretty beat up and pretty bearish, very similar to, what was it? BDXN, where charts like this that look oversold, everyone gives up on, they could just go crazy. All right, XPL, this one finally had a bullish break above overhead resistance. It did make a lower low on Tuesday, but we did see a really nice push and a bullish engulfing candle yesterday for XPL, for plasma. This is one that reminds me a lot of Pump. If you guys remember, I talked about Pump months ago when everyone gave up on Pump, back over here saying, I think right about here is a good spot. So in late July, and Pump proceeded to move out 65% and then moved up 252%. I am not saying that the same thing's going to happen for XPL, but it's a very similar formula, right? And we also have TBT bullish divergences and a cluster on Wednesday morning. So I'm not giving up on this coin. I still think that this one might fluctuate back and forth just a bit, but this one is starting to show some good signs of bottoming. C-Pool, this one is still very bearish, but I like the green candles that they are basically bucking the previous bear trend, which is good. The slow line is starting to curl down. It's still very much strong bearish regarding the TBO. And we do have a really deep cut on RSI and a massive win here for an RSI reset. So that's a positive thing for C-Pool. But be careful. I mean, this is good for trading, intraday trading, or like AB trading stuff. But be careful. Jelly, it pulled back yesterday. Look at the huge drop in volume. Now, this is just MEXC, I understand, but that's a huge drop from 11 million down to 2 million. I wouldn't give up per se, but this is just a crazy chart right now. But keep an eye on it. Just keep it in your bookmarks, okay? Mon saw a crazy pump on Tuesday. Yesterday is fluctuating a little bit, but not really giving us that much yet. Watch it. Just pay attention, because when volume starts to pour into these charts, don't be surprised that all of a sudden it just goes whoop, it goes up higher. Zcash closing up higher yesterday, 8% with a high at $507. RSI moved all the way up to 88.67. It actually exceeded this high, which means that, believe it or not, Zcash is still able to go higher. It's crazy. Now, for those of you that have the TBO and you want to be trading, you want to practice trading, it's risky because there's no guarantee. Zcash could also just crash because the whales decided we're done playing with you now. Like Andy in Toy Story, I don't want to play with you anymore. So you could trade it. I would just exercise a lot of caution because it's already super overbought, but it does not discount the fact that it could go higher. Clanker had a good show yesterday, up 13%, but it actually waked up 30% over TBO resistance, which is basically our what? TBO springboard bounce. AR, this one is still showing good signs. I like the two TBT bullish divergences here. I like that volume is increasing and it's not crazy pumping right now. On the 4-hour time frame, a lot of great volatility for trading. On the weekly, it's still very bearish, by the way. So this is extremely early to say, oh yeah, it's going to be bouncing. But the last time I did something like this was back over here in June before it rocketed up 70%. Useless. This one had a great bounce off of TBO support, which is awesome. So from 14 cents up here to 17 cents, that's a great show of strength. Has a TBT bullish divergence as well in the 4-hour time frame. Kita. This is one that was requested several days ago. It fell down to TBO support and a really good bullish engulfing candle yesterday of 26%. It needs to break above short-term resistance first. But this is a good show of price-based interest, but a huge lack of volume on this, which is surprising. TST, which is a coin I'm still very much interested in, good show of volume yesterday. 11 million volume versus the 5.2 million in terms of the average. That's good. It needs more. But I think a coin like this is just going to pump out of nowhere. Let's keep going. 1 inch, really surprising move yesterday. Massive bullish engulfing candle with the TBT bullish divergence. Really surprising move. So there must have been some good news, or the market has decided, okay, it's 1 inch's turn now. Now, just so you're aware, there are some bearish things to pay attention to. And I saw some comments, people saying you're only focusing on the bullish charts. Okay, I'm giving you some more bearish charts right now. All right, Dash has printed 2 TBT bearish divergences on the 4-hour. It looks like it's going to lose support right here. The next logical target to look for, though, is a quick little drop down here to 97. It's starting to show signs of weakness, and honestly, it's been showing us that for a while after topping out at 97.3 on the 4-hour RSI level. So it's fallen off a lot. Volume is still okay in terms of moving average, but Dash looks like it's going to have a deeper drop. Travel coin. This one has 3 TBO breakdowns on the daily time frame. It already lost support. It's already been really bearish for a long time, but the last time I did something like this, travel fell a lot further. Okay, so have fun. And speaking of fun lost a lot. Tuesday, 18%, 10%, 11% yesterday, and it continues to be very strong bearish. So there you go. Tau has not closed, it confirmed the close long that we were talking about yesterday. It was early, but now it's confirmed. So we're hoping the price will go back up to tag the fast line. Now for some charts just to keep an eye on. Litecoin, I still believe that Litecoin has yet to make its move. And I believe that once Litecoin starts to really pump and go crazy, that will let us know that the market's done. Because usually Litecoin pumps as we see Zcash, Dash, and all those other OG utility and privacy coins pump. Kudus. This one had a crazy wick all the way up here, liquidating a ton of short sellers up to 30 cents. Yesterday, more crazy price action. This is a good sign. Honestly, volume yesterday is bigger than what we saw the day before, which is wild. So again, great chart for trading, especially on faster time frames. All right, Giggle. This is one I'm actually a little bit irritated by, just because I know Giggle Academy is CZ's pet. You want to tell me that Giggle Academy in one day closed up 144%. It was all the way oversold, and then it went all the way back up. I know he's not the CEO of Binance, and no one really talks about Richard Tang at all. I mean, when I look at this, I don't, that's not organic. This is manipulation at its finest. RSI, by the way, hit 91.17 on the 4-hour. It could still go up higher. Danger, danger, danger. That's all I'm going to say. It's a massively manipulated coin. That's like the easiest answer I could give you. So targets, if it actually goes higher for Giggle Academy, up here to 523 and then up to $1,000. It's so wrong. EAT on the 4-hour time frame. This one is starting to wake up. I still think that we're going to see charts like this. Again, new listings are just going to go crazy, even though a lot of them don't deserve it because they don't have any working products. I don't know about EAT. I don't even know if it's a meme coin or a real coin, but we're just getting to that point again towards the end of the year where I think alts are just going to go crazy. We're going to see it. This one's really interesting. Raven coin on the daily time frame has these two recent TBT bullish divergences. Yesterday, really interesting price action. Let me get rid of that because that's old. Volume though yesterday was really good for this coin. It's still in this weird zone where it's very much bearish, but coins like this, seeing volume increase like this significantly and TBT bullish divergences, a coin like this, I mean, it could start to rally. The first logical target is up here at 0.01657, TBO resistance on the daily time frame. It's very, very, very risky. It's still very bearish, to be honest. But when volume is increasing like this on the daily time frame, pay attention, okay? And last but not least, MMT had a disastrous day yesterday, 71% drop. Crime, guys. This is what crime looks like. Absolute garbage. Like, what a ridiculous move. Yesterday, like, just brutal. The fact that it pumped up this high, 1,000% up to what? $2 and something? $4? And now it's down to 72 cents. So again, I do fully believe that we are in the final stages of the bull market because this is where we're going to see coins just go absolutely crazy. Yes, it makes sense to focus a lot on BTC and where it's going. Again, I've already shared my thoughts on where I think it is and where I think it's headed, but don't rule out alts going crazy. I still think that we're going to see some form of an alt rally or something like that. I'm still trading right now. I've just scaled back a lot of my positions. So I'm enjoying trading right now, just like a lot of you are. But what I will say is that you have to be really careful about using leverage in a moment like this. You might think, oh, I'm going to make it all back going 50x on one of these new listings. You very well could, but that's a huge gamble where I think you'll be feeling a lot better and safer in the spot market instead of using leverage in futures, but you can do what you want. But I'm still sticking with the spot market. It's treating me really well. So until the next time, you know what to do. Stay awesome and stay in the green. Peace.